Heads up, Guam. IP&E Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Starting now on Prime Time, the ribbon has been cut on the processing center as many claimants line up to start the process for their war claim payments. Plus, Public Health holds a briefing on the coronavirus. And we've got an update to repairs at the dilapidated Southern High School. Have a day, everybody, and good evening. The War Claims Processing Center in our top story is now officially open as officials cut the ribbon for the office today, as a large crowd of claimants lined up outside, eager to get the paperwork going for their long-awaited payments. Nestor Lecanto reports.
It has been more than 75 years since the World War II occupation of Guam ended. And now, after repeated attempts over the years of seeking reparations for war victims, payments are finally at hand. Many Manamco showed up early at the War Claims Processing Center in Tamuning, all of them happy that the time is finally here.
Well, it's about time, I guess. You know, I've been waiting for a long time.
I was 1 year old when this thing happened. I was born in 1941. But my mom told me what happened, so finally her dream came true.
I'm glad it's coming to the end. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, waiting for this, and it's happening, so, I'm really happy about it.
Oh my goodness, I'm just so happy, very, very happy and thankful that it finally came. Good. It's about time.
Governor Lou Leon Guerrero was among the many officials who showed up to cut the ribbon for the processing center.
I just want to wrap my hands around them and protect them because they've, worked hard for us. A lot of them died for us, and a lot of them sacrificed, not just during the war, but after the war, for their families, and just that whole feeling of loving and caring.
Through an agreement with the Treasury Department, GovGuam is paying out claims locally until a bill by Congressman Michael San Nicolas is passed that will authorize the release of millions of more dollars currently on hold at the Treasury. San Nicolas continues to raise concerns about the local payouts, but Governor's Chief of Staff Tony Babauta, who is coordinating the effort, says they respect his perspective but are confident about their process.
The lawyers at Treasury who have signed off and have helped us put together this MOA and make sure that our process is good and consistent with how they need to operate are the same lawyers that identified the flaw in the Guam World War II Loyalty Recognition Act. We have faith that everything that we've entered into with them, that they have vetted and cleared on their side.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
As of 5:30 today, there were better than 230 adjudicated claims that have now been processed, and as such, Adelup says they were literally swamped all day with phone calls at the number, which is, of course, 482-0792. That number once more, 482-0792. If you have trouble getting through in the days ahead, you can also call the Governor's Office switchboard. That number is 472-8931. That's 472-8931. And if you still have questions and if you live off island, please join us for our special Facebook live stream, won't you? We'll be at the Guam War Claims Processing Center in Tamuning on Monday beginning at 9 a.m. We'll take you inside the facility and through the process. Representatives from Adelup will also be there to answer questions. Again, that's Monday at 9 a.m. on Starting Lineup on Facebook Live. Make sure to check us out. In other island news, headlines tonight calling it a rapidly evolving situation. Officials from Public Health held a briefing today on the new coronavirus outbreak. It was the first detected in the central Chinese city of Wuhan, which has since been placed on lockdown, but cases have now been reported in Thailand and in Japan.
I think everybody should be very concerned anytime you have a virus that is very new and novel. I don't think that we should ignore it.
Public Health Director Linda DeNorsi says at this point it's still considered low risk for Guam, so airport arrival screening is not yet being implemented. But if a passenger exhibits symptoms of infection, they will be ready.
We do have our plans in place, our protocols of the past. We've had exercises before. As you know, we had MERS and we also had the severe acute respiratory syndrome. And so this is nothing new. The plan is in place. In the past, when we used to have it way back with the SARS, we had public health staff on duty at the airport. And that was because it was a pandemic at that point, global. And when that time comes, then we will activate our nurses at the site.
The virus can be passed from person to person, likely through coughing. Symptoms are similar to common respiratory infections, such as a sore throat or runny nose. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Jana Maglonia says the virus is so new, there is no vaccine yet.
This is an emerging, rapidly evolving virus. It's brand new. Everything we're getting is from the CDC. A lot of questions, and they're trying to answer and study to get those pieces of the puzzle to help us solve it and determine what risk. And we don't even know how easily transmitted it is. You know, viruses are on a spectrum. Some are rapidly transmitted, like measles. Some aren't.
In the mainland U.S., the Centers for Disease Control announced it is implementing entry health screening at 3 ports of entry: San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Nestor doing double duty for us tonight, as he also adds that the Guam Visitors Bureau is monitoring all source markets and is in constant communication with partners, including public health. Pilar Laguatna, the CEO of GVB, adds there are protocols in place to ensure the safety of travelers and the local community. And we do have more for you now on what Guam is doing on the home front, as your government is closely monitoring the situation, along with colleagues from the CDC in the mainland. They have and are continuing to issue alerts to all healthcare providers to increase awareness to detect possible cases locally. Public Health has established specimen shipping protocols to the CDC to maximize the speed the test results are returned on suspected cases, and they're reviewing the existing protocols for respiratory illness outbreaks. As mentioned in the press conference, this is a new virus, and although our island is at low risk, this can change at any time. Well, as for what you can do, it is the same thing that you'd normally do to prevent getting the flu or other types of respiratory illnesses. For example, you want to make sure your hands are clean and that you wash them often. Avoid touching your mouth, eyes, or nose if you have not washed them. Stay away from people who happen to be sick, and stay home if you feel under the weather. It's also a good idea to go get one of those flu shots. Elsewhere tonight, pleading not guilty in district court this morning, 28-year-old Daryl Jake Guerrero appeared for his arraignment hearing before Magistrate Judge Joaquin Manabusin, as Guerrero was indicted for possessing more than 50 grams of meth with the intent to distribute the substance. He waived the reading of an indictment, and his attorney, Assistant Public Defender Leilani Lujan, requested a bail hearing be set in a week and asked that probation conduct an interview. The court scheduled a bail hearing for the last day of the month and trial set for 2 months hence. Well, this morning, GPD and the fire department responded to an auto fire on Cross Island Road in Santa Rita. And according to reports, a truck struck a concrete wall and then burst into flames. Traffic was backed up and motorists were forced to seek alternative routes due to the roads being closed. The driver of the truck was transported to the hospital for his injuries. Well, former GPD officer Ryan Shimizu has pleaded not guilty as he was arrested last November after being caught on video surveillance, allegedly stealing and taking cash out of a wallet he found at Familia Mart in Talampago. He was indicted for theft of property, lost or mislaid as a third-degree felony, theft as a misdemeanor, and official misconduct as a misdemeanor. His next court appearance was scheduled for the first week of February. Well, Alan Ngakta, in other news, the proud mayor of Manila, does confirm that Akamini Walter was the pedestrian who died after being struck by a vehicle on Monday. Walter was trying to cross the street at the University of Guam intersection on Route 10 with her husband, Sakasu Joseph, when they were both struck by a gray Lexus vehicle. Walter was transported to Naval Hospital in Agani Heights, where she was pronounced dead. Her husband was taken to GMH in Tamuning. The stretch of road in Manila has seen its share of pedestrian fatalities over the years, and the mayor says he has long advocated for crosswalks and an additional traffic light. GPD Sergeant Paul Tapao tells KUAM the Highway Patrol is still investigating the crash to determine if speed, alcohol, or drugs were contributing factors. The planning and design contractor, in other news, for the Hagåtña Master Plan has turned over documentation and materials to the Hagåtña Restoration and Redevelopment Authority Board. That info is being sought by the Oversight Committee led by Senator Kelly Marsh Taitano, who has been pushing for copies. Matrix Design Executive Vice President Celeste Werner appeared at an oversight hearing last night to literally hand off the digital file.
Within the scope of work of our contract, we are extremely confident that we have delivered every single deliverable required within our contract. The key here is the master plan is a blueprint. It's not our plan, it is your plan. And everybody who was involved really developed the plan. And there are a lot of different components to the plan. It's a dynamic plan. It should always be dynamic. It should always be able to be updated.
Matrix says it's been working on the master plan for 4 years, and according to Werner, there are 4 goals: to reestablish Hagatna as the capital, to preserve, enhance, and educate about cultural and historical resources, and to create economic focus and engine in Hagatna, and to bring people back to the capital city live. The hearing was recessed in order to review those documents. Also tonight, GMH appeared before the legislature for an oversight hearing this afternoon, with the only public hospital on the island providing an update on the procurement of electronic health record systems, contracts for physicians, and an update on the processing of medical claims and billing issues. The last oversight hearing GMH had was back in October. Well, we are just getting started, my friends. Please keep streaming and keep watching, because Prime Time continues right after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
At the mall, as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment, you could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Over the next few months, 2020 Census personnel will be coming to your villages. They will be visiting your homes, collecting information crucial to growing our economy and improving our healthcare, education, public safety, and so much more. Please join me in participating in the 2020 Census of Guam, because together we can shape our future for a brighter tomorrow.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
House impeachment managers outlined their arguments for the abuse of power charge against the commander-in-chief, also claiming President Donald Trump wanted the Ukraine to announce an investigation into Joe Biden once he saw the former VP climbing in the polls. Here's more from Capitol Hill.
House managers have spent day 2 of their opening arguments laying out their case for the first article of impeachment against President Trump, abuse of power.
He must not remain in power one moment longer.
Lead House manager Jerry Nadler showed past clips of the president's allies and a current member of his legal defense team calling abuse of power an impeachable offense.
If you have somebody who completely corrupts the office of president and who abuses trust and who poses great danger to our liberty, you don't need a technical crime.
Dershowitz now takes the opposite position for the president's defense. Fellow attorney Jay Sekulow says their team is united on this key point.
The actions alleged and the actions of the president do not reach that level, no matter which school of thought you're on.
House managers today tried to illustrate motive, and they also presented arguments to counter allegations about the Bidens and the debunked theory that Ukraine interfered in the 2016 election.
Everyone else told the president time after time, this is nonsense, the Russians interfered, not the Ukrainians.
The House managers sort of drove a knife through the heart of those false arguments ahead of time.
But Republicans say the House showed the Bidens are central to their argument.
Based on the House manager's presentation today, I think we probably are going to need to hear from the former vice president.
Revisiting the issue of witnesses could come up later next week.
A poll does suggest a bipartisan majority of Americans want to see new witnesses testify. Let's get back to some Guam news now, as it's been now years since the home of the Dolphins facilities have received any repairs. And Southern High School teachers spoke with our Adriana Cotero for an update on their deteriorating auditorium, gymnasium, and Olympic caliber pool.
since then, but we're trying to do the best we can to make do.
Making do for the past 3 years without having access to their multi-million-dollar auditorium. The traditional arts program teacher at Southern High School, Vince Regis, has created makeshift stages for rehearsals in the school's hallways in order for students to continue to showcase their talents.
We've been doing it for several years. It's very difficult because when we hear about how much it's going to cost, of course, me as a teacher, it's very difficult to kind of see that there's actually hope to get this fixed because it costs so much more than what I ever can imagine trying to fundraise to do.
The main problem, the air conditioning unit is down and there are leaks in the roof. A legislation has been introduced by Senator James Moylan that would provide $1 million for the repairs and rehabilitation of this facility. This is Bill 269-35. It is still in the early stages as it was introduced on January 10th, although Regis expresses a little hope for what may come.
I'm very excited because there's nowhere in Guam that actually has a place like this. This is the best space for productions, not just for the students here at Southern High, but for the island community. The goal is to provide a pocket academy where students are able to take several classes that deal with performance arts, specifically in Chamorro culture.
And the auditorium is not the only issue on these school grounds. As physical education teacher Jill White tells KUAM, the air-conditioned system in the main gym is also down. And this is affecting the students' activities and the teachers' well-being.
That aircon has been out more than it's been on in the history of the school. I can't be down there anymore. I can't take the heat.
Can't take the heat inside and also cannot stand the Olympic-sized pool outside. According to White, it was operable in 1999 for the SPG Games, and since year 2000, it's been down. 20 years later, and the pool's been sitting, filled with dirty rainwater, pipes broken, and the filtration system is completely pirated.
I believe it was legal counsel at one point said that it was an attractive nuisance and we had to drain the pool, and so here we are.
Is there anyone maintaining it at all?
Not that we're aware of.
White says this area has become hazardous as the gates are broken into and not secured. Is this up to code?
That's a good question. I've been here since Southern opened, and we've had our issues ever since, and it gets old trying to say, hey, we need help, we need this, and it falls on deaf ears.
A bill has not been introduced for the repairs of the pool or gymnasium at the home of the Dolphins. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Well, candidate packet pickup started today, say that 3 times fast, downtown at the Guam Election Commission, as prospective candidates or their representatives are more than welcome to swing by the GEC's office on the 2nd floor of the GCIC building downtown in Naganya to pick up packets during regular business hours. Now, packets include all the documents needed for candidates, from necessary affidavits to campaign finance guidelines. But it's not really about what's in the packets themselves, it's who picks them up. Incumbent mayors Rudy Paco and John Cruz picked up their packets, as did mayoral candidates for Agate, Jigo, Umatic, Inarahan, Jotnya, and Talafofo. Senatorial packets were picked up by Daryl Taggarty, Jonathan Savares, Al Roslin, Aries Mendiola, and William Raymond Gibson. Well, state funeral for former Agate Vice Mayor Jesse Pendon was held today at the Guam Congress Hall in Hagåtña, as Pendon was appointed by former Governor Carl Gutierrez to serve from Vice Mayor to October 1996 to the following January. Pendon was appointed to fill the position because the sitting Vice Mayor at the time was named acting mayor when the elected Mayor Antonio Babaute passed away. Pendon was born in the Philippines and relocated to Guam in 1956 when he was a contract worker recruited to Camp Rojas. He was also a past president of the Iloilo Association of Guam, an active member of the Visayan and Filipino Associations of Guam. A legislative resolution was presented to his family saying, quote, he contributed to the making of a lively, healthy, and happy community through his charitable endeavors for the people of Agate. Also tonight, the Guam Safe Housing Act is a step closer to becoming law as the Senate Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriations, and Housing is anxious for its passage. This is Bill 214, introduced by Senator Mary Torres, and is an additional section to the Guam Landlord and Tenant Rental Act. Torres says it provides a safety valve for victims of family violence, sexual assault, or stalking, as it allows the victims to end the lease agreement early without the risk of being penalized.
Some realtors to look at this bill the other day.
It addresses a problem that victims often have when they are in abusive relationships and can't get out of a situation with housing, either because they're locked into a rental agreement, or they just don't have options. You know, they're afraid of the financial ramifications. It fills a gap right now with how to address victims and how to give victims the ability to better their situations, where oftentimes the housing situation is what traps them.
Part of the bill, as it is a victim-centric bill.
The veteran policymaker says that oftentimes victims placed in that situation results in them becoming homeless. And during the public hearing on the measure, Public Defender Stephen Hattori testified that, quote, far too often homelessness is a solution for leaving an abusive relationship. Hattori concluded with expressing their support of the measure and requesting a prompt passage. After being awarded a federal grant, UOG has introduced hands-on training sessions for caregivers of clients or family members with Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. According to the dean of the UOG School of Health, Margaret Hattori, the number of individuals with the disease locally are underreported and underdiagnosed. Yet the World Health Organization has come out with stats that show the Western Pacific regions, which include Guam and the Federated States of Micronesia, have a high burden for the illnesses.
There's a huge need. I mean, prior to this grant, we found from family members that they're learning on their own how to take care of their loved one. And you see our beds, but they're learning, it's very sad, they're learning how to feed someone, how to change their clothing, how to bathe them. And these are skills that we can teach. And so family members have been learning on their own, and it's a real struggle.
She explained it makes for a remarkable struggle as people are trying to teach themselves how to properly care for those with Alzheimer's or dementia. Veronica Alave, project director of the grant program, says in the mainland, Standard Care provides families necessary training before clients go home.
We have a very positive feedback. First of all, we train them for understanding more about the basic dementia. And then after that, we train them about the dementia-related behavior and other, in the future, we're going to train them about activities of daily living.
The next training session is next Saturday from 9 to 11, with all training sessions held at the UOG School of Health, room 145. For more information, check our website for more. Well, this afternoon, the annual March for Life was held downtown as the Island's march is in line with the National March in D.C., protesting both the practice of abortion and its legality. It takes place on or around the anniversary of the historic Roe v. Wade. On January 22, 1973, the landmark Supreme Court decision legalizing abortion. The movement has gained tremendous encouragement and effectiveness in the mission of the Catholic Church and all other religions who believe in the sacredness of all human life. Marches and all other rally events are being practiced also worldwide. Stay tuned, sports is coming up next.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
We're excited to introduce Cars Plus 2.0 as we celebrate our 20th anniversary. Every moment has led us to push the standards of the automotive experience, from our state-of-the-art facility to world-class products. And now, we're proud to launch Guam's first and only lifetime warranty. Head on down to Cars Plus and ask about our lifetime warranty. We're driven by you and driven to be better.
Shell's Million Miles giveaway is back, and we're giving 100,000 United Mileage Plus miles to 10 lucky winners. You can jet off to Japan, break away to LA, or even sightsee in Paris. So, how do you make a getaway? Just use your Lucky 7 card when you fuel up with 7 gallons or more, and you're automatically entered to win. Fuel up at your nearest Shell station today and start planning your new adventure. No purchase necessary. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
This week's Direct Own Athlete of the Week, J. Leon Guerrero, who recently won the Guam Bowling Championship at the Central Lanes Bowling Center. Talk about this year's competition and how things went for you.
Well, this year's competition, it was after 2 days of qualifying. They took the top 16 players, and it was tough. It was a really tough pattern, and I knew I had a chance against the younger guys in a tough pattern because it would be a sparing game. Fortunate enough to make the top 16, and then I crept my way up to the top 3, which was, I was number 3 actually, and I beat my teammate Cesar Villanueva, who was a 2nd seed, and then a veteran, Manny Tagli, was real tough to beat in the final.
Yeah, putting up over 200 score that
year.
year.
I beat him, shot a 224 scratch.
And 2019 was a big year for you, finishing top 10 in the World Cup.
Yes, it was in Palembang, Indonesia. So every year AMF brings out the national champions from every country. So it's only one person per country that goes to this tournament, and it was pretty tough competition. I would say I was very intimidated coming into that, but I did well in the prelims. I qualified and then finished in the top 10. You know, something that was a big goal of mine before I retire and hang up my bowling shoes.
Big push. You and Joey have really tried to get the high school bowling up at the IIAG level, and we're looking forward to this year because it's going to be an official sport.
Yes, fourth quarter, it's coming. IIAG bowling, something that I've been looking forward to, working 2 years to get this running. And I've seen a lot of kids in other sports, you know, having that IIAG all-island champion on their resume and getting them into college. That was one of my goals, to see one of my kids, one of my players that I've been coaching, you know, go to the next level and play in the States and for a college, and also get an education at the same time. And just to say that this high school bowling league, we're hoping that it attracts players, new players, young players to come and start getting interested in the sports, so we can increase our pool for the national team.
All right, so who are you going to donate your check to?
I will gladly donate this check to the Guam Cancer Care.
The Payless Markets Community Foundation's 24th annual Kick the Fat 5K, 10K Run Walk and Health and Smart Wellness Festival takes place tomorrow, January 25th at the Chamorro Village. Showtime is at 5 in the morning with go time set for 5:45 a.m. for the 10K and 6 in the morning for the 5K. Custom run Guam Dry Fit shirts, tanks, and health smart bags will be available for the first 3,500 finishers. The grand prize is $1,000 cash and $500 cash, which will be rewarded to the school with the largest participation. 100% of the Kick the Fat proceeds will benefit Duk Duk Goose Inc., Snake Pit Wrestling Academy, Manelu, and the University of Guam Endowment Foundation. The Guam National Tennis Center Community Tennis Carnival will be held tomorrow to celebrate the completion of the newly built National Tennis Center located at the Guam Sports Complex. The project has been in the works for over a decade, starting with Bill Camacho and now with current President Torgan Smith. The facility features 6 adult courts and 4 kids courts.
This is to give back to the community. You know, through a lot of partnerships with the community, we've been able to build a tennis court. So this is just to give back. So we encourage anyone who, even if you don't play tennis, come on out with some tennis shoes, and we will provide everything for you guys. We're going to have fun, and we're going to have fun and games. We're going to have rackets ready. We're going to have food. We're going to have some refreshments for you guys, and you know, we'll have coaches come out here, help you guys out, learn about the game, and also we're going to have you know, different events such as Beat the Pro event, you know, speed testing event, and these are also more for the adults.
Half Day. My name is Jonathan Jose, and I am the co-owner of Opaque. Opaque is a local clothing streetwear brand inspired by our culture and our lifestyle. Our main mission is to be who we are, and it's more of like, this is our culture, take it or leave it, because this is who we are. We're not going to try to pretend to be anyone else. The Half Day Pledge is like the essence of Guam culture. The people of Guam are just naturally hospitable, so it's just more of like a reminder, reinforcement, to the youth of Guam. It's like, this is who we are. Don't forget your roots. We're a giving people and a welcoming people. Having that local pride is, definitely a Guam thing. I mean, in a world of 7 billion, we're pretty unique. To share that with the world is even more special. To be able to share your experiences and share your pride, with the rest of the world.
Oh yeah. Nailed it. That's what I'm talking about.
You okay, Glenn?
Dude, I'm just so pumped we got all this McDonald's at such a great price.
Yup, it's back. 2 for $6 mix and match. Big Mac, Quarter Pounder, Chicken McNuggets, or Filet of Fish for a limited time.
And now a newscast tradition here in Harmon. At the end of the show, we always do your Cold Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts. It's Friday, so let's do some birthdays now, everybody. Happy birthday to Mary Flores, who celebrates birthday number 24 today. May each candle, smile, and a happy birthday be a sign of good things still to come. This shout out comes from Grandpa and Grandma Flores and the family, and a big birthday shout out from your sister in Texas. Gotta love that. Happy birthday to Dustin Leon Guerrero, whose 8th birthday is today, so happy birthday, Dustin, to you. Happy birthday also to Damian J. Anthony Garcia. It's also Damian's 8th birthday today, so we love you forever. Say Mommy, Mama, Papa, and the entire family. Awesome day to happy birthday on a Friday, and hope you all had awesome days as well. Just make sure to go to KUAM.com and click on the birthdays link, because it's that time of the show where we say happy birthday. Oh wait, no, we did that part already. I know what time it is. That's that time where we give away, of course, a Cold Stone Creamery birthday cake, of course. And this week's winner is the very lucky and very fortunate Dionisio Manila, who had a birthday earlier this week. We hope you have an extended, awesome birthday, and we'll be in contact with you to let you know how you can redeem your prize. Enjoy, and happy birthday once more. All right, please stay tuned. There's more coming up.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Visit GESIGuam.com or call 647-8111 for more details on how we can help your business save money.
Holiday, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and welcome to KUAM News Extra. Thanks so much for streaming or watching us on KUAM TV.